Hello and welcome to another episode of Alan Writes. This is number 9, I think. Pretty much sure. So, I've realized that I need to do some outlining here because I need some inciting acts of where the thriller is going to take us because this is The Winter of Truth. It's sci-fi, it's fanfic, it is a thriller. So, while I don't have as much blam blam pow pow epic saga of space opera that Star Wars might have, it will do alright. So, outline of inciting events. And let me boost that up to 150%, so people can see it. 200 seems to be too much because you can't catch it all in one grand sweep. So, outline of inciting events. Okay, here we go. Sure, missing grav sled, as we have, not a conspiracy. Just misplaced by bureaucracy, which I can still not spell. Bureaucracy. Just misplaced by bureaucracy, then ravaged by greed. She dismisses this as bureaucracy, as a bureaucratic slip. On both accounts. Later believes it to be deliberate. Second, she'll be exiled from Auxiliary Bay 3. Apparently there's an additional I there that I missed. Fine. Exiled from Auxiliary Bay 3. This was the Colonel, who is presently nameless. This was the Colonel's decision to keep her at bay until instructions came. His superiors agreed with the move. Nominally because of a rebel attack. Yeah. Let's making an actual rebel attack in the night. Seized stored goods in the rebel base. See goods that's both rebel and imperial, because the Imperials did in fact stock the rebel base with stuff so that when they as a base camp of operations, when they're exploring the rebel base or taking a look at things or what have you, they wouldn't run out of things like, batteries or spare equipment or other things that would be important. And the holdover rebels or the left behinds. Left behinds or stay behinds. They do that, Either they're left behind or they stay behind. Either way, they're going to be a thorn in the Imperial side. Not only because of rebel attack. Actual rebel attack. Attack localized. Alright, to keep her at bay until instructions came. She chooses to use the rebel base. And it's now empty hangars. get some Empire Strikes Back vibes. Where Vader stood as the Falcon zoomed off. Okay. A circle of hate. And that may be our only brush with the Force. Okay. She chose to use the rebel base, and now, it's, yeah, it's fine. The grammar's fine. All right. So then she's exiled. All right. That's the second one. Her reinforcements. Her follow-on crew is denied transport. This is an obvious Navy Army interplay. The Army looks to cover its ass, letting too many rebels flee. The Navy wants it revealed for prestige. Army wins, since owing to Vader's influence and Veer's capability. All right, so there's that. This looks and walks like politics. She's annoyed by it. Wants to see both sides, but can't. All right, that's the sticking point. Rather than her getting personally screwed over, which she is, she's unable to reconcile the fact that the Empire is doing something silly and useless because of politics, internal politics. Yeah. Appeals to Kuat go nowhere. Neither does she. It is implied that she is supposed to return. She doesn't, and instead seeks to fulfill her mission. A bit of rebellion. So, finally she's going to be proactive. She's going to go and recon downed AT-ATs. Try to drag the pieces back. Recondition rebel speeder. Flush transport, something that's been left behind. Get the DTs and Lawner aboard. So she's got some things she has to do. Is this the first turning? This might be the first turning, where things heat up. Finds out what's going on with the harpoons and armor weak points. Pretty quickly. Now, And let's heat this up. Captured by rebels. Her speeder is noticed, and the rebels lay a trap. They grab her and her speeder, specifically her speeder. She activates a beacon to track them. Now, let's see. Could she possibly be mistaken for a rebel? I don't think so. She's operating in the daytime. It's obvious she's not doing regular salvage. Yeah, she's not a rebel. There's no way they mistake her for that. She's just a corporate hack. They don't execute her. They don't execute her right away. Now you're saying, but the rebels are the good guys. Yeah. It's a dirty old world, and Hoth is going to get pretty dirty. It was once a pure snowball, and then humanity showed up, or the rebels showed up to hack something out of there, and the Imperials followed. It's going to get dirty. You track dirt in. Since she's a corporate hack, they don't execute her right away. She'll have to escape somehow. The Wampas. There are the Wampa creatures. They're apex predators on Hoth. Now, why would the Wampas attack? Specifically when she's there? I don't know. That's a good question. I will need a tech reason. Need a reason they do so. The fuel she used for the speeder was non-standard. Made from organics. Rather than be the fuel use for the speeder was non-standard. Made from organics, etc. It's gotta smell. It has gotta smell. Yes, there we go. That's all the justification I need for a smell that the Wampas like. Specifically since it's made from dung of a tauntaun. Okay. That is all the justification I need for the Wampas to intercede. She escapes into the cold of night. Limited life on her battery. Crank it up to survive as long as she does. Alright, why doesn't she die when she's out there? Obviously, we could have the DT troopers rescue her, but I don't think she needs rescuing. She's not the kind of heroine who needs rescuing. She's resourceful. She's an engineer. Okay, she makes her way to a speeder or other wreck. Uses the cracked fuel cells. Rigs up a heating device overnight. So yeah, she's going to save her own life here. So whether that's cracked fuel cells or auxiliary generators. Thank you, spell check. Or auxiliary generators. Now, funnily enough, we can't have it be Luke's can I have it be Luke's? It be Luke's speeder. If you remember, Luke Skywalker crashed on Hoth, and he had to. I mean, it was crushed by the AT-AT, but how badly was it crushed? Was it just pushed in under the snow and ice, or was it completely crushed? I don't know. We'll leave it up in the air. In the air as to whether it was Luke's. I'm going to have to take a look at the footage on that and see whether or not there's any justification I can make. Also, maybe only hit the front of the cockpit, not the back, in which case most of the engine and the other stuff might be intact, and that would be good. If so, some of his memorabilia. A vial of sand. A vial of sand. He doesn't hate sand after all. A hollow cube with some shots of friends. Hey, that's a cute guy. Hey, that's Han Solo. Okay. Also, Princess Leia. Maybe a medal. All those. No, not a medal. That's going too far. Amusing, but too far. So, Princess Leia token. I like this better. An Alderaan scarf. Okay. So there's a few tokens, because fighter pilots usually have a few tokens in their cockpit, legal or otherwise, that just to remind them why they're there, to make it homey, as it were. Also, Dax corpse. Have to pull it free. At that point, it would have been mummified by the cold. Yes, I know, spell check. There's probably an additional M in there. Yep. Mummified by the cold, but still so young. A moment of reflection. Okay, so she escapes into the cold of night. Rescued by patrol. Rebel camp found. Lots of blood. No corpses. They moved. So, there we go. Is it a one-armed shot to escape somehow? Activates a big Wappas. One-armed Wampa. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We might be hitting it kind of hard there with, like, she's on Hoth and she's in this area. She's interacting with all these things because that's where it is. It's enough, I think, that she'll find Luke's speeder and have a moment of reflection in there. Rescued by patrol. Brought back to base. Cue the Inquisition. Someone from the Security Directorate, or whatever they're called. interrogated prior contact with rebels. What's her game? Okay, so this is good. She's rescued, and we're like, oh, yay! She's rescued, and the rebels are we've taken off. There's no corpses. There's lots of blood. Then she's brought back to base and immediately faces something of a trial. Great. Restricted to quarters. More reflection. It's kind of one reflection on top of another. Suspected of sabotage, of industrial sabotage, trying to delay deployment of AT-ATs by suggesting refits. What? No, it's a thing. No, it's a thing. It's a thing. Cost the Empire money, time, and expertise in the pursuit of useless endeavors. And now we see that's a little bit of the high level stuff. The high level politics, the high level maneuvering. She's essentially held hostage until by a faction until Kuwait gives them something. We'll never find out what that is. Doesn't matter. Yeah. So that's the top level maneuvering. And on that note, we really should bring back her boss. Televisits. Once a mentor, now something else. Now the political animal. He lays bare the truth of the Empire. A squabble for power and control. That's a squabble for power. Control's implicit in that. Well, you've got control, influence, or money. And if you know your hierarchy, it is in fact control, influence, money, if you have a preference for that. Money can purchase influence, but not control. Influence can subvert control. Control is often too blunt to affect influence. Control makes it easy to acquire money. All right. It's a squabble for power. This is true in any administration, dictatorships, and authoritarian regimes are rife with it. And this is true if you look at any sort of authoritarian regime. It's a squabble for power in there. That's all there is. If you don't have democracy to tamp some of that down, it gets really, really bad. Nazi Germany, they're losing the war, and there's still some economic byplay there that people still trying to enrich themselves. as if it's going to matter if they lose the war, but they do lose the war. In Stalinist Russia, you've got something similar, also an authoritarian regime, although not politically the same, and anyone who tries to tell you the same is bullshitting you. But they're authoritarian. There's lots of different stripes of authoritarian. That was often a squabble for it. As long as Stalin was at the head, though, he had complete control, and he liked it that way. As long as you did good by the boss and he liked you, then you were less likely to go to the gulags or be executed. Um, Even that sometimes wasn't enough. You just have to know his ministers of security. I don't know what they called that in Soviet Stalinist Russia. But yeah, there he went through quite a few of them, and they were all nasty characters. Some more so than others. But anyway, as to any information, the Empire is corrupt, but it is also the only thing keeping chaos at bay. That's her justification. Okay, she has a choice. Has a choice. Okay, her choices. Play the game. Keep your head down. Well, it's always keep her head down. Her choices are keep her head down. That's passive. Could be useless. Safest and easiest is just do your job and don't go there. I've communicated with plenty of people who believe in, horrible things are happening, but, I should just, continue to fill out my forms and everything will be out right. Keep her head down. Go to the rebels. What do they really offer? There's no safety. No safety. No money. Nothing but ideology. And that's true from her point of view. And that's why she's going to reject it. She'll reject it. She hates this for the head down. Okay, go to the rebels. She'll reject it in the end. Stick with the switch to the army. Switch to the navy. Navy. Work for them via Kuat. They pull the strings. They pull the strings. She dances. She hates that. Hates it. Pledge to the army. Give in to what they want. Falsify records. Falsify records. Called Happy Talk. This chafes on her. This chafes on her core. Won't do it. Better for the army in the long run. She's basically she's the parent here. They're the kids. All right. Lastly, what do we have? We have go to the top. Send a missive to the Emperor. No. No. That's too high. It'd never get there. We're going to bring in Veers. General Veers, though, he'll understand. His loyalty loyalties are to the Empire, not just the army. Not just the army. The army is the means, not the end. Okay, this is where she'll go. This is where she'll go. Oh, incidentally, prior contact with the rebels, Luke's keepsakes. This is what keeps her imprisoned until the SD guys can clear it with higher-ups. Basically, because she found some things of Luke Skywalker's, they need to send that up the chain. And when they do, it takes a little while for decisions to be made as to what needs to happen with her. And from there, we develop the fact that, it's not really going to matter too much. It's just a reason for her to not be released immediately when they're like, okay, she had some rebel contacts, but these are all incidental, and really, she was captured, so whatever. Go to the top. This is where she'll go. It'll work. Her passion and devotion shine through. And I like doing this because she is an idealist at heart. She believes in the Empire. She's an Imperial girl. She's going to save lives and bring order to the galaxy. One blueprint at a time. All right, and from there she's gonna goes back, returns to the as the hero's journey returns to home. She's a figure of legend now. Everyone looks up to her. Not promoted. Can't be promoted. But so what? She knows Veers. And Veers knows her. That goes to Veers knows Vader. And Vader knows the Emperor. She's fourth rung down on the power chart, on the association, I would call it the Kevin Bacon chart, but that's kind of old and tried now. This doesn't make much sense anymore. Everyone's connected to everybody else anyway. Returns to home. So, as part of the hero, I'll have to review my understanding of the hero's journey in this last part. She's really too big for this sort of role. And knows it. Knows too many truths. But for now, she'll do her job and wait for the next opportunity to serve. We're going to leave it open-ended at that point because maybe there's another book in it, maybe there isn't. I'd have to change a lot in order to put it out as my own, and I really don't know anyone in the publishing industry that deals specifically with Disney properties. Which gives it. Would she be a Disney princess? I don't think so. Not unless she got a title. Got a title for her work, which would be in the time to come. And to be honest, I've got a fairly narrow window between this and the destruction of the second Death Star, the death of the Emperor and Vader, and the splintering of the all of that. So she'd have to do something remarkable in the second or third book involving that. Obviously, she could work on the second Death Star, but that's kind of boring. We'll figure something else out. It doesn't all have to dovetail back into the legends and the previous story that go on with the Star Wars saga. Uh, there can be so more than too much of a good thing. Too much of a good thing is what I'm thinking. Um, returns home. Yeah. So there we go. That's our outline of the various incidents and what have you. The rest is really just her talking and trying to arrange things, and we're exploring the characters in the universe and trying to keep it interesting. We only have really a couple of fights to keep it interesting. We don't have any space battles. Speeder battles? Speeder battles? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think we have any of those large-scale battles. If this was going to be a movie or something, they'd almost certainly want to throw something in and not have it be a pod race. Which would be speeder battle. She escapes the rebels in a speeder, and they pursue insane. That would be our battle. If we do it there. The trouble is, and I will be honest with you, she's not a skilled pilot, she's not a skilled gunner. She's an engineer. So she'd have to engineer her way out of it. Fake her own crash or self-destruct and dive out. Okay, I like that. Let's include that from her escape. From the... Okay. There we go. She escapes the rebels and they pursue in the same. They're better pilots and gunners. She fakes her own crash. She sets up a delayed self-destruct and dives out or ejects. They think her dead and move on. She has escaped into the cold of night. That's when she finds the speeder and everything else. Okay, so there we go. It's got a good enough flow. We've got a speeder battle. We've got maybe some blaster play in all that good stuff. They think her to be dead and move on. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's a good outline. It's kind of detailed, and sometimes that's more than what you need with a good outline. Sometimes it's simply, she goes here, she does a thing, she talks to people, she uncovers a clue of some sort, etc., etc. We don't have a lot of clues. I'm going to... more clues, details, etc. Write it. Well, easier said than done. And I have not done a single line of actual story. And that's the way outlining works. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this latest episode of Alan Writes. It should have been called Alan Outlines, but, you know, you do what you can. Hopefully this has been insightful as to plotting things out, where things are going, and sketching out stories. I can certainly try to pants my way through this, and I have been so far. But it's not going to work. The thriller needs more structure. I need to know where it's going and what to bounce off of, even if I change those things later. And that's one of the things that's important: is don't become locked into your outline. Is you change things if you need to. If you need to develop things in one area more, if you need to say, well, no, this you can't possibly go there because this or that, or this turns out this has to happen because this conversation goes that way naturally, or she gains additional insight which turns her to the rebels. That's fine. It's kind of silly and kind of a given. I mean, she'd make an interesting character, former Imperial, an engineer rather than anything else. And then you'd have her coming around the backdrop of, say, not the Empire Strikes Back, but Return of the Jedi and the filler material in there, and maybe the hunt for Han Solo, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, things how it goes. But this has been an effort, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Uh, if so, do the thing with, what is it, like and subscribe and everything else that goes on the YouTube channel that I have not been saying because it's implied, because if you watch enough of these YouTube videos, you know what to do if you like something. All right, so take care out there, and I hope you have a good day. Thanks.